I'm going to be starting a series called Living Righteous, and it's going to be to help you with your spiritual journey and to give you inspiration and motivation on your spiritual journey as you seek and start to come into truth. Now, while this channel is dedicated to political truth and current events truth, I also want to dedicate this channel to spiritual truth and how you can get to spiritual truth in your spiritual journey. And so today will be part one. Where do I begin? How do I find truth in spiritual truth? Well, I'm going to tell you that you find it through who? Yahuwah, the restored, set apart Hebrew name of our Creator. And you find it through His truth, which is His word. Now, many people ask me and have been asking me about their spiritual journey and about where they can find spiritual truth and how they can get a spiritual journey. And the answer to that is the answer is in the word all along. It's always been with us, but we never really paid attention to it. So where you can find the truth is through Yahuwah himself. But not only that, but you have to do what? Follow his laws, statutes, and commandments and follow the Torah. And this channel is going to help you and guide you and lead you towards following the Torah so that you can have a personal relationship as well as seeking his word. So what you can do to begin this relationship is start reading the first 5 books of the Bible: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. Now, I must warn you and tell you that there are 613 commandments, and although there are that many, we do not have to follow all of them because many of them we cannot follow. But a good way to start in your spiritual journey, in your walk, is to seek the Most High. Seek Yahuwah and accept his true son, Yahusha, into your heart. I choose to use the restored, set apart Hebrew names because those are the names we should be using for our Creator and his son. But really, it's about having that personal relationship by seeking him. But he tells us in his word, and I'm going to go to his word in a second, that we are to still do his laws, statutes, and commandments. We are still to follow and obey his commandments to the best of our ability. And I know many Christians like to debate, well, isn't the law done away with? Is the law done away with? I'm going to take you to some scriptures that even in the New Testament that prove the law is not done away with. And I'm going to let you know how you can get on a head start and get on a start to truth. Because remember, Yahuwah is salvation, but you're only going to find salvation in Yahuwah, not religion, not Christianity, not even Jesus Christ, but in Yahuwah himself and his true son, Yahusha. But what you have to do is start following the Torah, following the law, statutes, and commandments. Know them to the best of your ability, and really start seeking his word and start seeking truth. And another question I get is, well, do you have to be Jewish to do this? No, you do not have to be Jewish. You do not have to follow Judaism to do this. That's one of the many ways that the so-called Jews, the Khazars and the Zionists have twisted and turned everything by making it seem like that, oh, it's only a Jewish thing, that, oh, only the Jews are instructed to follow the law and the Torah. No, anyone can follow the Torah. And then back then in biblical times, it was the Hebrew people who still have the covenant today, and the Hebrew people who followed the law, statutes, and commandments. But I'm here to tell you that no, it's not just the Jews and it's not just certain people. Anyone who wants to find righteousness and seek the truth and seek Yahuwah can follow his commandments. And I'm going to take you to some scriptures that even talk about why we are still under the law. I am in Matthew chapter 5 verses 17 to 20 in the KJV, and it says, "Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law, till all be fulfilled." So let me ask you this. It says, till heaven and earth pass. Have heaven and earth passed? No. Have all been fulfilled? No. So that means we are still under the law. We are still instructed to follow the law, statutes, and commandments in the Old Testament. The Old Testament is not done away with, and that's one of the many lies in Christianity and in religion in general, is that they tell you is that the law is done away with. Kind of reminds me of the man of lawlessness. I'm going to keep going. Verse 19, "Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven." So those who do follow the law, statutes, and commandments and teach them then they will be called great in the kingdom of heaven. For I say unto you that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees, ye shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven. So how can you enter in, and how can you even get into the kingdom? By following the law, statutes, and commandments. I'm going to talk more about that real soon. Now, I also want to take you to John chapter 14 in the KJV, and we're going to start at verse 12. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me, the works that I do, shall he do also, and greater works than these shall he do, because I go unto my Father. And whatsoever ye shall ask in my name, that will I do, that the Father may be glorified in the Son. If ye shall ask anything in my name, I will do it. But listen to this. If ye love me, keep my commandments. What commandments is he talking about? Is he talking about the commandments in the New Testament or the New Covenant? No, he's talking about the commandments in the Old Testament. He's talking about the first 5 books of the Bible. He's talking about the Torah. If you keep the Torah, if you love him, then we will keep the Torah. So that is where we want to start. And like I said, we want to get familiarized with the commandments and start following the commandments, follow the Torah, because even the commandments say we are to know the Torah, teach the Torah to our children, so that all may be well with us. And then there's one other place I want to take you to real quick, but it's Genesis chapter 26, and it says, And there was a famine in the land, beside the first famine that was in the days of Abraham, and Isaac went unto Abimelech, king of the Philistines, unto Gerar. And Yahuwah appeared unto him and said, Go not down into Egypt, dwell in the land which I shall thee tell you of. Sojourn in this land, and I will be with thee, and will bless thee. For unto thee and unto thy seed I will give all these countries, and I will perform the oath which I swear unto Abraham thy father, and I will make thy seed to multiply as the stars of heaven, and will give unto thy seed all these countries, and in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed. But listen to this, because that Abraham obeyed my voice and kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws. And if we jump down to verses 24 and 25, it says, And Yahuwah appeared unto him the same night and said, I am the Elohim of Abraham thy father. So he's talking to Yitzchak or Isaac. Fear not, for I am with thee, and will bless thee, and multiply thy seed for my servant Abraham's sake. And he builded an altar there, and called upon the name of Yahuwah, and pitched his tent there. And there Isaac's servants digged a well. So he called upon the name of Yahuwah and built an altar there. Because Yahuwah was with him, he blessed him and multiplied him. But why? Because he followed his word, because he followed his commandments. And we have to understand that Yahuwah, what does he look for more? He looks for obedience, and he honors obedience more than he does sacrifice. And so that's something we always have to remember. And if we're really looking for the truth in ourselves, remember, we have to understand his word is the truth. The Torah is the truth. Yahuwah's word and his law is the truth. And that's where I want to, help lead all of us for our spiritual journey, and to give you motivation and tools for that. What can you do to get started? How can you get started, and how can you start living righteously and start seeking the truth? Well, the first thing you can definitely do is clean out your temple. And when I talk about this, and what I mean by this is watching the certain foods you eat. There's a list of foods and clean and unclean foods that we are and are not supposed to eat. And I know a lot of people say, oh, but that was done away with. Well, think again, because I just gave you some really helpful and resourceful scriptures. But definitely start to clean out your temple. You can read about it more in Leviticus chapter 11, Deuteronomy chapter 14, and even Isaiah chapter 66. I'll also link my video about clean versus unclean foods below. But definitely clean out your temple that way. You can also come back to Yahuwah as a child and ask for forgiveness, plead for forgiveness, so that you can be cleansed of your sins. And start learning about the Shabbat or the Sabbath, honoring the Sabbath, learning and reading and seeking the commandments, learning about the 7 feast days, the Feast of Passover, unleavened bread, first fruits, the Pentecost, trumpets, atonement, and of course, Feast of Tabernacles, learning those feast days and following them, and getting away from the holidays of Babylon, which are your Christmases, your Easters, your Valentine's Day, and so on. And of course, doing the law and starting to do the law. So like the tassels of Numbers 15. Like I said, there's a lot, but you can start slowly. Start seeking the Torah. Start seeking the first 5 books of the Bible. and really seek Yahuwah and his true son Yahusha, who is your Passover lamb, because that is where you're going to find your salvation. That is salvation, because remember, Yahuwah is salvation. Like I said, Yahuwah willing, I plan to do more on this, and I plan to really talk about more of how to overcome adultery, fornication, how to really just cleanse your temple, living righteousness and living in righteously, because I think it's really important for all of us. And that, remember, that's where we're going to find our salvation is Yahuwah himself, but we're going to get it through following the Torah and doing the Torah and keeping the law, statutes, and commandments close to us and really getting it into us. And like I said, having that personal, close relationship with Yahuwah. That's why the name is so important, because I guarantee you, you will have more of a personal relationship with your Creator when you know his name versus using titles such as Lord and God. I guarantee you that. And I'm going to leave the link of the name and why it's so important below. And I'm also going to leave some resources that I highly recommend you check out, because I think they're going to help you in your spiritual journey as you start to walk in spiritual truth. Because like I said, this channel, while it's dedicated to political truth, it's also dedicated to helping you on your spiritual journey in your spiritual truth, which is Yahuwah, and which is his law, statutes, and commandments, and keeping and following the Torah and starting to follow it to the best of our ability. But you can definitely start with the first 5 books of the Bible and seek resources too, and I'll leave some below to help you get started as well. But I just wanted to leave this all with you, and I just wanted to hopefully this will help you. Hopefully this will help you in your spiritual walk and your spiritual journey. And if I could be a resource of you, please don't hesitate to email me. Don't hesitate to be a stranger, because that's what I'm here for. So hopefully this will help you out. I'll be doing more on this, Yahuwah willing. This is Truth Unveiled. Shalom.